Know that I'm Liz Altieri, and I'm the vice chair, but I'm sitting in for Lee Slusher tonight, who's unable to attend. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to start by having a moment of silence, please. Thank you. If you'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, Dr. Ray, will you please lead us?
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members, if you've looked at your agenda, I'd like a motion to approve.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye by raising your right hand and saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Mr. Superintendent, we'd like to have our recognitions.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, I guess. We have some wonderful recognitions this evening. First, would like to congratulate Mccard, who was named for the Exemplary Reading Award by the VSLA New River Chapter. That's a wonderful award that shows how outstanding they are in the passion of promoting and implementing evidence-based literacy instruction. So congratulations, Michelle, Deb, and to all of your teachers, too. We'll give you a round of applause for that. Also, just found this out a few minutes ago. This is the Governor Northam announced the career and technical education grants to 7 school divisions. These are grants that the High School Innovation Grant Program provides one-time funding for school divisions to help students earn a high school diploma, industry-recognized credential, and an associate's degree in 5 years or less. And Radford City was one of these. We put in with New River Community College and also a group called 1901, which is a partner of ours from Virginia Tech, and we received $90,000 to create, in collaboration with New River and 1901, a pathway for students to earn an associate's degree in information technology. So we're very proud about that.
That's
too.
great.
Excellent.
And a special thanks to Jamie Little and Margaret Sproles for heading that up as well. And then we have some awards for you all. Of course, we have our Academy Awards that you all go to, and so we have an Academy Award for Lee. Unfortunately, she's not here. And then we have an Academy Award for you, Liz. And then after we all go to the board or to the VSBA annual convention, we'll probably have some more too. So thank you all for making professional development a priority in our school system too. That's all the recognitions I have.
Okay, great. Do we have any student reports tonight?
We have some wonderful student reports here. I'm so glad to present to you Mr. J.C. Hamilton and his crew of folks that he brought with him. This is, you all asked for us to have a report from Junior Bobcat Connections, and so he brought a wonderful group here with us. And so, J.C., if you want to come forward and first, and then you can bring your group with you if you would like. I know we have teachers and students as well. And JC is our coordinator of the Junior Bobcat Connections.
Thank you folks so much for having us as your guest to talk about our fantastic program this evening. We are very happy to be here. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Talking to that. Junior Bobcat Connections is a new program launched this school year. It's under the advisement, under the supervision, and under the operations of Radford City Public Schools. As you likely know, the previous entity of operations was Beans and Rice, which dissipated over a year and a half, potentially 2 years ago. It's been my understanding from conversations with people who live in different communities that a lot of counties were not able to rebound from the dissipation of this program and currently do not have quality, effective programs for out-of-school time. So it's a very bold and advantageous initiative on behalf of Radford City to have refreshed, rebranded, and to have launched this program for this school year. What we found through operations thus far during the school year is that a quality enrichment tutoring program is now more vital to our community than they ever have been in order to meet our children's academic and social needs. So the core tenets of what we aim to do in Junior Bobcat Connections is to model, promote, and hold our children accountable for appropriate and effective communication and solution-oriented problem solving. We want to expose children who may not have the opportunity in any other venue to concepts, ideas, skills, and knowledge. We offer remediation tutoring to increase and fortify academic achievement. We instill and guide children through skills and habits towards good citizenship. And we ensure that students consistently adhere to the tenets of being safe, peaceful, and respectful. As you can see, we did bring a posse, all of which are extremely excited to be here.
Outstanding.
We polled several families and several teachers to see who would step up to speak about their experience and reflect on their time within the program. So we have two wonderful teachers, Miss Ann Rehak and Miss Kim Luckett, who I'd like to join us now, if they wouldn't mind, to speak and reflect on the teacher-tutor perspective.
That's the wrong way, Ann.
Within the program. To give you a bit of an overview, sorry I skipped over, we currently have 110 actively enrolled students. On any given day, 60 to 70 children are in attendance. And on the early release Wednesdays, we have 70 to 85 children in attendance. So the program is big, and the program is fluid. So hopefully, with some of the testimonies that you have this evening, you'll get a good gauge, a good overview, and a glimpse into our out-of-school time life. Ms. Luckett.
Thank you. Okay, so we both work beans and rice. In the past, you guys know that that's the program that we've had for several years. When we compare that with Junior Bobcat Connections, there are a lot of similarities, but also some stark differences. The prior program was on the focused on the kids working in a mock economy called Micro Society. They still had time to do homework, but after homework, they were brought down to Micro Society. They were given a job to perform, and it functioned within that economy. So Junior Bobcat Connections focuses on building relationships and working on interpersonal skills with the kids. It's much more student choice. So when they come in, they have choices of what they can do for their activity time. The discipline problems are minimal, and we've tweaked the program once or twice or 3 times or 4 times since we've started. As we go along, we're learning and coming up with ways to make it better, and each time we've gone to JC with our ideas, he has welcomed all of them. He's really open, and we feel that the program is off to a wonderful start for this year. So we had the parents bring their kids. We have 6 children with us from Junior Bobcats. And they all wanted to share just one or 2 little things about the program.
Outstanding.
For you guys. So if you guys, do you want to face the board, the school
Yeah,
board?
You can face us, and then when you speak, you can take your
Yeah, you
mask
can
down
take your
so we
mask
can
down.
hear you, okay?
And speak nice and loud.
So if you want to pull your mask down, you can, but you don't have to.
I'm Dorothy Maxwell. Hi, I'm Keone. And I'm Sophie Berry. We'd like to tell you about Junior Bobcat Connections. Here at Junior Bobcat, we get a snack and we go to our teacher for homework from 3:15 to 4 o'clock. If we need help, the teachers are there to help us. We can also do reflex or lexia if we didn't do that during the day. I like being able to get my work done so when I go home I don't have any work left. Plus, being at school keeps us safe while our parents are working.
After we do our work, we get to do activities. We get to go outside and play, or sometimes we play in the gym. If I wasn't at Junior Bobcat Connections, I would be at home board, and I like to save my friends.
We also get to do games like Connect or play with Legos. There's crafts we can do also and puzzles. We also get to take turns playing on the computers if we want.
Okay.
We have a bit of a scripted thing going on here.
But they wrote it. They wrote it with me
with their
yesterday.
collaboration. Really quickly, guys, if you don't mind, why don't you speak about how you feel when you're at the program and what your favorite activity is?
First of all, who else do we have here?
Patton, why don't you go
Introduce
first,
yourself.
friend?
Just who are you? In what grade?
Hello, my name is Patton and I'm in 6th grade.
Okay.
What do you like to do at Bobcat Connections? What's your favorite?
Well, I get to draw there because he lets me.
He draws on giant chart paper, so
Oh,
he has
nice.
wonderful displays of his
Plus
art.
for 2 projects or 3 projects because anyways.
Maybe you can take pictures and send them to us.
Patton is an established and fantastic artist. So
Okay,
we'd love to-
outstanding.
Great, thank you.
Hi, my name is Janaya. I'm in 4th grade. And the only reason I go to Bobcat Connection is to hang out with my friends and do reflex and Lexia. That's it.
What's your favorite, before she goes on, what's your favorite thing?
I'm Meredith Minnick. I'm in 4th grade, and my favorite thing to do at Bobcat Connection is hang out with Mr. Hack and hang out with my friends.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Super.
Thank you all for coming today.
Yeah, we appreciate it, and
Thank you so much
thank
for having
you
us
for
again.
bringing that information to us, JC. But I can give you another testimony, and probably can Miss Denny as well. We've been over there quite a few times, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And we are grateful for what the teachers are doing, because it is nice. One additional component that we have this year is we have our teachers there mostly running the program with JC's help. And then before it was Beans and Rice running the program with. We didn't have as many staff as we have this year, so it's nice to have our own staff running the after-school program too. And I know it's extra for you all, but we're grateful for everything that you do with these children, and we're grateful that you all are having a great year with it too. So thank you for coming.
Can we, before you leave, can we turn you around and take a picture?
I also want to commend the teaching team. 5th grade teachers
Yes.
as a whole run that program with JC, and they work all day long and then another 2 hours in the afternoon, and they do it like champs.
Yep.
And so kudos to them as well.
Kudos to you, absolutely. Do we want to turn around so your parents can take a picture?
Yes,
if they'd like?
absolutely. Well, you guys need to get in
You
the
can get
picture too,
closer.
Get in the
JC.
picture.
Come on, you
Closer.
guys
Come
get
on,
in
get
there
back.
too. Thank you
Got it.
guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate everything.
Thank you all.
And that's it for our report of students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Board members, we need to look at our consent items.
Oh, goodness.
Is there any discussion or questions about any of the consent items? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the consent items?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent items.
Have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Information items. First, we'll have reports, requests, or comments by the public, students, or school personnel. We always like to read this, folks. This part of the meeting is reserved for public comments regarding items on our agenda or in regards to Radford City Schools. It's your opportunity to address the board. You're requested to keep your comments polite and courteous. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect to the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. Speakers should be aware that they may be held legally responsible if they make statements that violate the legal rights for others. For example, if statements are made that are defamatory or threatening. Complaints about specific school personnel are best addressed to school administration, who will address those concerns. Please remember that you cannot mention specific student names during public comments. Comments likely to disrupt the board's work or prompt a breach of the peace are prohibited, and the speaker will be called out of order by the board chair. Please also remember that debate during public comments is prohibited. When you come up to the mic, for the record, please state your name and full address. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes per speaker at board meetings. If anyone wishes to make comments, please come to the podium at this time. And we have Carol Andrews signed up.
Hello again, Carol Andrews, 2001 Preston Street, and I think y'all know why I'm speaking again. And I'm glad to see it's on the agenda tonight. I just pulled up my account for insurance, and I talked to Carrie about this last month, and nothing has changed since last month. I have a claim from January 28th that still hasn't been paid, and it's a small claim, but the ones that I was telling you all about before from June, there's a whole list of them, and it's like I told you all before, it's that stress test that I had to have before I had a couple procedures done. Everything from 6/14, 6/14, 6/14, 5/26, 5/26, have still not been paid. And I got another email from Carillion saying, you owe me $9,000, and I'm like, no I don't, and I've already talked to them. I'm paying a little bit per month, just so, what I'm afraid of is they're going to send it to a collection agency. And I don't know what else to do, because I've talked to BPA, and I saw Mr. Irby's here, so I hope that some of this can get settled, but I just wanted to bug you again and tell you it's been almost 5 months since this procedure was done. And I would just like for it to be paid so I can take care of the rest of it, please. Thank you very much. Just wanted to put it in your ear again. Thanks.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Did we have any written
We do.
comments?
Yes, ma'am. The first one we have came in Monday, November 8th at 6:08 from Brennan Altizer. I don't have an address on here. It says, I just would like something looked into with art from Mccard and Bell Heath. My daughter stated they don't actually do anything in there. She always just comes home with printed color pages. I remember when I was in school, we had projects to do and even seasonal things we would bring home. I'm just concerned because there are creative kids out there. However, I feel like their creativity isn't being expressed because of the lack of, and then it says, thank you for taking the time to read my message. I appreciate it, and appreciate how on top of things the school board is for Radford. And then the second one I have is from Nancy Francis, who lives at 1009 4th Street, and this came in Tuesday, November 9th at 12:43 p.m. It says, Dear Mr. Graham, I'm writing in reference to the continuation of the mask mandate in the Radford City Public Schools. Back on August 10th, 2021 board meeting, the data from the mask survey was presented. At the time, 55% of those who responded to the survey wanted the choice of their child wore a mask to school or not. At the same meeting, Holly Lesko, the public health school liaison, spoke in reference to the current COVID-19 standings. At that August 10th, 2021 meeting, Ms. Lesko noted that the highly contagious Delta variant, which was affecting kids, had already been detected in the community, and that this variant was fast moving like chickenpox. The information presented was the Delta cases would increase over a period of a couple weeks with a spike at 1 month time frame and then drop. She also noted that the Virginia Department of Health really wanted to be able to be mask-free at the beginning of the school year, but with the Delta variant in our community, they recommended masks for the start of the school year. It is now November 9th, 2021, almost 3 months from the above-mentioned board meeting. The Delta variant has come and gone, and the Radford City School children are still under a mask mandate recommended by the Virginia Department of Health. Over the course of the last 3 months, the case at the schools have been very low. As of the RCPS power announcement dated 10/29/2021, the school had gone 4 weeks without a positive COVID-19 case. Thousands of schools and preschools across this country started the fall of 2021 school year without masks. When are we going to give our students the same opportunity? In a report from usnews.com on September 4th, 2021, only 16 states, primarily on the East and West Coast, have mask mandates. Nevada has a specific mask mandate for kids K through 12 for counties with 100K or more residents. In 8 states, mask mandates are banned from school entirely. The remaining 25 states have no mask policy, and there's a link listed here to where you can see that data. I would like you to know the specific criteria that RCPS is going to have to meet for the VDH to finally give their blessing to unmask the kids. What more are we going to have to do to give the 55% of the families the choice to wear a mask or not? Thank you for your time, Nancy Francis. May I add something to this,
Yes.
please? So I contacted Ms. Francis and I told her I was frustrated too, that we were hopeful that it would certainly become a locality decision here in the last few months because of what we are seeing throughout the state, but that hasn't happened yet. And she completely understood that we still need to follow the mandates, because if we don't, we could really put our school division in harm's way, take a chance on losing athletics or extracurricular activities. She was very understanding of that and asked what she could do to help. And I said letters like this and comments like this are very helpful, and to please contact her legislator, and we need to ask our community to do the same thing, because it would be nice for the Virginia Department of Health and CDC to finally come out to say that it's a locality's choice as to whether to wear a mask or not, but we're not getting that guidance right now, so we have to continue on the same track until we do receive that. Any questions on that? Okay.
We've got a Coven Clinic coming up soon, don't we?
Yes, for children, we have a COVID clinic. We'll say there's one tomorrow at Christiansburg that we sent out to the community. It had over 150 slots that I think some of our folks, our family signed up for. And then we will have a 5+ clinic the week after Thanksgiving, or the second week after Thanksgiving. We have to know when the doses are available. And then of course we had last Wednesday, we had over 140 staff member get their booster shot. So I think we're in really good shape. There was the data out today again, and Radford doesn't have very many. We've had one case in probably a month and a half, 2 months. So I understand her frustration. I get it. I'm a little frustrated too.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. So I guess next we have the report of the superintendent.
All right, thank you. Ms. Andrews, thank you for setting us up perfectly for Mr. Irby. We're glad to have him here. As you all know, Sam is a wonderful supporter of Radford City Schools, and he has some information for us to share. And I'm sure after hearing what you said tonight too, he's going to take that right back to his folks and get on that first thing in the morning. So, come on up. Yes, please. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you. Thank y'all. I appreciate being here, the opportunity to speak to y'all and to the audience and try to help everybody understand where everything is. Number one, what she's speaking of, and I apologize to you and agree with you completely. I actually talked to the finance officer up at Jefferson Health Plan about a month ago, and he's been waiting on an unpaid claims report from BPA so that he can pay all those claims. I spoke to him again today. He called me this morning, and those claims should all get cleared by the first part of next week. So if you find out different, please call me. You've got my cell phone number, I think, don't you? Well, here, you do now. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of times, especially in changeover from one insurer to the next, which is what went on this past July, it slows down the process. And some things get dropped in the middle. We're back right now trying to audit all the accounts and be sure everything is going the way it's going. It's supposed to be going. This past year, can y'all all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. These masks drive me crazy as far as being able to talk. When everything moved to Jefferson Health Plan July 1, there were several things that made sense there that will solve this problem that she was talking about a few minutes ago. Jefferson Health Plan is an Ohio government entity consortium. And what they do, they've got about 25,000 employees covered right now. Most of them in Ohio, a few in Tennessee. Virginia is another area they wanted to expand into, so they've got a few groups here so far. That expansion just took place this year. So they had to file everything with the commissioner's office down in Richmond, Bureau of Insurance, get everything cleared with them and get everything set up to run the consortium. In establishing that, one powerful piece is when they shop the reinsurance to cover claims over your specific or over your aggregate with self-funding. They're shopping for 25,000 employees at one time. So what that'll do is that brings the rates in at a lower rate. Beyond that, they agreed to establish a Virginia pool where Virginia would have their own board of directors and would have input back into Ohio if the consortium was running, what y'all wanted to do. So that in itself is a big plus. So you've got Mr. Graham, Dr. Graham, and several other superintendents or members of school systems throughout Virginia going to serve on that board going forward. And that will give them input into how they want it managed and handled. Another thing associated with this, Jefferson Health Plan will allow you to level fund your insurance 12 months at a time. One of the problems that we were running into with some of the schools is when you're into the self-insurance arena and you think, okay, it's going to cost me $2.5 million this year, so I'm going to send over to the bank $200,000 a month. I'm going to take the employee deductions out, I'm going to match it with the employer contribution and send it on over. Well, that may work real well the first month because maybe you don't have a lot of claims. But maybe the second month you sent $400,000 in, you have $800,000 worth of claims. What happens to you? It's like, where's that other $400 coming from? And until you can get into self-funding and build a reserve, you don't have that bank sitting there to draw that money from. So that has created some problems in the past few years, but working our way out of that, what happened this year, which happens and delayed her claims. Anytime you think about it, the May claims, the June claims, and a January claim, I don't know how that ended up, but we actually got a claim a week ago in another system that occurred last July, and we just got it this July. The people that were filing it had the wrong address, so it never was getting to BPA and Sigma and getting where it needed to go. Those things happen, and that's probably what happened with this January claim, or provider's office that just didn't get filed timely. The May and June claims, what happens at the end of the year like that, your June claim very likely didn't come in until after July 1 it started. The agreement with Jefferson Health Plan is they would pick up all the run-in claims coming from this past year's contract, so that while y'all were paying you a couple $100,000 into the pool, that money would be sitting there accumulating to pay this year's claims with, and they'd pick up the others, okay? Unfortunately, somewhere along the line, Jefferson Health Plan, between Jefferson Health Plan and BPA, lost sight that they were supposed to pick up y'all's run-in. And that's what I called Mark about a month ago and said, wait a second, Mark's finance officer at Jefferson Health. I said, y'all are supposed to pick up Radford's run-in. He said, oh, well, BPA's never sent us the unpaid claims report. So then we went back to BPA and finally got that out. He's got that on his desk, came into him yesterday or the day before, yesterday. And he'll process that money back out to BPA and they'll clear those claims here in the next week. So anybody's got anything hanging out there like that happened in last year should get cleared up here in the next week or so, okay? Anybody that has a problem, something doesn't straighten out, please call me on the telephone. And anybody needs my cell phone number, yeah. All of them I got in my pocket. Beyond that, the nice thing about what Jefferson Health Plan does is they do create it as level funding. So as you pay your couple of $100,000, or some of the schools are paying $500,000 a month, depending on the size of the schools. As they pay that money in on a monthly basis, if their claims jump up to a great big number because everybody has something going on all of a sudden, Jefferson will pick up those extra claims, pay them on time, everything should flow just like a fully insured plan. What they do with that is at the end of every year, they look at it and say, okay, are you in a deficit position? Maybe you paid in your your $200,000 a month or your $2.5 million during the year, but you really used $3.5 million worth of claims and expenses. In that case, what they've agreed to do is take that deficit, spread it over the next 2 or 3 years, and they don't charge any interest. So they'll work that in a little bit at a time in your renewals in an effort to keep your renewals fairly flat. I think, and I don't hold me to this, but I believe it was something like 88 to 90% of their renewals last year were less than 5%. So very promising there. But of course, all of that goes back to your claims. So if all y'all run out of here tomorrow and decide I'm gonna go get my shoulder surgery, my knee surgery, and all that done at one time, you know, all of that factors into next year's renewal. And it's gonna do that no matter where we've got your insurance, okay? Another really nice thing about this is you own your reserves, just like as always. So as this money builds in that account and your bank account builds, which we got it funded at a level your bank account should start building. And as that happens, you will finally get to a point that you got enough in reserves that everything will flow more easily. And for instance, an account this size probably, I would say you probably need to have about $1 million in the reserve account. And once you get to that point, if you have a bad year, and let's say you're staring at a 10% rate increase, and you can't give the teachers raises, and you're just in a really tight budget year, if you've got that $1 million in reserves, you can use part of that to offset that year renewal. And then hopefully the next year, claims will be back down, and everything will be smooth again. Because what happens is your claims spike about once every 5 years, 4 to 5 years, they're gonna spike. And you'll be able to use that reserve money to overcome that spike and keep things flowing kind of level. Another really, really good thing from my perspective, and I know will be for the board and administrators straight towards perspective, in negotiating with them, I explained to them about budgeting in schools in Virginia, and they agreed to give you your renewal by the end of January. So at the end of January, we will have a fixed number, and then at that point, if we don't like the looks of that fixed number, we can send it out to bid and look at other carriers. But at the same time, the school board and administration can move forward with their budget because they know it will not exceed this renewal. That's the way we always try to do with the fully insured. And most reinsurance companies will not give you firm rates until 90 days out from renewal, which would push you into March. By the time you could get that, or 1st of April, by the time you could get those fixed numbers, Jefferson Health agreed to do by the end of January. Okay? Questions?
So the original members of that consortium for us in Virginia is Buena Vista, Rapid City, Patrick County, Tazewell, and Fluvanna County are the 5 original. And it's our job to try to build that consortium in Virginia, but to do it very carefully with those counties or cities who have good claim information.
Have good experience.
Good
Right.
experience.
Low claims, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, rather than have high utilization, which means you're having a lot of claims, have lower utilization. So that board will sit and look at loss ratios and information that we gather as we look at accounts and try to help be sure we don't get accounts in there that won't be positive through the years.
And then we get eventually a seat at the overarching board of the whole Jefferson plan, which should happen in the next month, I think, month or so.
Yeah, that's coming right on down the pike.
Didn't we originally have more than that divisions? I thought we had 7.
That was when it was BPA and
with the captive.
With the captive.
Is she
The
saying
captive.
school
It was the
system?
captive,
yes.
okay.
At one time, there were a couple other entities involved, claims problems and different things that they were having. They left. This past year, only one school left. And the year before that, two had left, I think.
And then we have interest from, at least at that meeting that we went to at Mountain Lake, there's interest from 3 or 4 that we have right now.
Definitely, and I talked to several more today that want to look at it and see if it works for them.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Board members, do you have questions? I'll start with Dr. Ray and we'll move around.
I don't think I do, no. I think you explained it fairly well.
Okay? Yeah, okay.
The report that shows the claims, the aged claims.
The aging claims are basically what just went up will be paid, and I told Rob I would get him an aging claims report.
Yeah.
Carrie, yeah.
Can you send us that every month?
They were supposed to be, and I will follow up on that and be sure it's
It
done.
would help us out. I mean,
Yep.
if there's one in there from January, there's probably a dozen in there from January.
Right, I understand. Yeah, and you know, that aging claim report can only show you what has been received by BPA. So you're always gonna have, even looking at that, you're gonna think, okay, well, we don't have a lot of aging claims. And then all of a sudden, like I said, one's gonna pop up from last July or last August to where the provider didn't get it through. You know, so many of the providers now are subcontracting their billing out to these national firms or statewide firms, and they're doing all the coding and the billing, and sometimes that stuff just is very slow coming out at times. But most of it should be in that report. It would just be one every now and then. You'll look and say, golly, why
Yeah.
is that one so old?
When you see that one like that, then what do? Do you go back and audit that?
Well, yeah,
If you see
BPA.
one from January, do you have a process that you go through and say, this is,
They
what
do.
in the world happened that this was not paid?
Yeah, what normally happens is that BPA and Cigna will go back and look at that and be sure it's a legitimate claim. And a lot of times it is. Now, there's something called timely filing in the state of Virginia. If the provider does not file the claim within 12 months, you don't owe the money. So those get thrown aside altogether. But anything that's filed within 12 months is a legitimate claim, as long as we go back and find out they're not double charging because I went and had 2 heart bypasses the same month, or, you know, two tests, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
But it's checked.
we're more interested in timely paying.
Yep.
Well, this new system with Jefferson Health, it will be timely paid unless it gets lost in the system and doesn't get filed appropriately back into Cigna and BPA. Because everything should flow and be paid on a monthly basis. So whatever comes in will be processed and paid out. If it's more than is in your fund, your claims fund at that point, Jefferson Health is gonna pay the remainder of that and just keep an audit trail on it so they know how much they've advanced. Okay?
All
So
right,
we
we
shouldn't have
count
that
on you
problem.
not to let them get lost.
Sir?
We're hoping that we're not gonna have any lost claims out
No,
there.
I hope not. But yeah, anybody that has a claim outstanding, by all means, please let us know as fast as you know about it. So if you keep getting a bill from a doctor saying you owe them $100, call us on the telephone. Because we're gonna call the provider and we're gonna call Cigna and BPA and find out where that claim went and get it paid. So please do that. That's one thing the insureds can do that really help a whole lot, is if they keep getting a bill from somewhere and then you don't see where you've gotten an EOB, an explanation of benefits, and you don't see where the doctor's office on that bill where they were billing you for $150 has said insurance company payment $80, you owe $70, or whatever the case may be, we need to know about that. Just don't let it drag. Okay?
Ms. Ray?
I think he's covered everything I had questions about.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you
thanks,
very
man.
much.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Great to see
Thank
y'all,
you.
y'all.
Thank you, Sam.
Y'all stay
Appreciate you.
well.
Appreciate
You
you
too.
being
We'll
here.
have claims if we're not.
That's a
Sir?
good insurance
We'll
man.
file
Stay well.
claims if we're not.
So you're saying I'll know about it if you're not? Please stay well. Good to see y'all.
Thank you,
Thank
Sam.
you.
Have a safe trip home.
Thanks.
One thing that Sam and I have talked about too is there's a county in Southwest Virginia that is using ESSER funds to stabilize their reserve funds. They were actually able to do that and approved through that. So if we have any extra ESSER funds, that's something that we'll consider.
Boy, that'd be perfect,
Yeah,
John. That'd be
yeah.
perfect.
So it's nice to know that somebody's
Yeah.
already applied and been approved for that.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
If we did that, would it pay forward to next year?
Mhm.
So we
Sure
can
would.
actually save on our budget
Yes.
next year? Okay, that's good to know.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Second is school board student representative. We talked about that earlier in the summer, and I think it's now our principals do an outstanding job of including their students and having representation at all levels too. I think it would be good for us to consider that too. A lot of school divisions are moving that way, and there's a lot of resources for that student who's selected. In fact, one of them is a scholarship, a pretty nice scholarship that they can apply for in being a student representative of the board. And then we get to, they can't be a voting member, but we can certainly, they can certainly be another voice for the students for us. I know it's November right now, and we're almost, getting to the holiday season, but I sure would like for you all to consider that if that's possible.
I'm good with it.
Absolutely.
I love the idea. I guess the question when I saw the agenda first was, how is that student picked?
There'd be
Is
an
there a process,
application process.
And who filters the application?
We would probably work with Ms. Grant on that because it needs to be a senior, and then we would have applications for it, and then we would set up interviews with those students, and then there would be a selection for that, is how I've heard those who have representatives have worked it.
Yeah. Is there any way that we could be involved in that
Yes,
process? Maybe narrow it to the bottom,
I
top
think
3?
I think they would be the ones who screen the applications, and then you all would be the ones who do the interview, or we would be the ones who do the interviews.
Okay.
So it would be a meeting for us to have interviews.
Yeah, okay, great.
So do we have consensus that Mr. Graham should move forward?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Great.
thank you, appreciate that. The comprehensive plan review, we're starting off this month. I don't know, can you pull that up, Carrie? Is it on there?
It was in an email.
Yes, I sent it to you in email. I think we have it on there too. Yeah, the one.
Oh, the
yes,
one-pager.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
So you all have that this afternoon, and I mean, I can go through this thoroughly if you want me to, or you've had it for a while. What the Virginia Department of Education is suggesting and recommending now is that we have a one-pager that kind of outlines the work that we do with our comprehensive plan. Of course, we're still working on that, and down at the bottom of that, if you can scroll down, Carrie, down at the bottom, that is the link to the full comprehensive plan. But what we have right here are the vision, the mission, and then our priorities as we see them in Radford City, which are very similar to what the goals and objectives you'll see in the document that's a lot larger and longer. The document down at the bottom that has the link is much more specific, has much more details. We will certainly share that with you. Don't think we need to go through that as much, because this is the overall kind of plan that we have for us. And you can see on there our priorities are: number 1, safety; number 2, student achievement; number 3, capital improvements; number 4, fiscal responsibility; human resources; and then parent and community involvement are the priorities that we have with the comprehensive plan. So our plan is to, if you all are okay in having this moved to December and being approved, and then having the full document approved in January.
Sure.
I'm comfortable with that.
Are there any questions that Ms. Denny and I can answer regarding the one-pager?
I just have a comment, and what's really nice to see is that the board worked on goals, and these all very closely
They're very
aligned.
closely matched, and we reviewed those. We kind of put them side by side so that they would be very similar. All right, thank you.
Looks great.
And the continuity of learning, that's Ms. Denny's done a lot on that, so I don't know if we could probably pull that up for you to look at. Carrie, if you go to the website and you go to, if you scroll down to the very bottom, if you go to the home page, Or you could add a new tab there and just open up RC. There you go. So go all the way down to the bottom, or scroll down to the bottom. A little further up.
We need to get Carrie a mouse.
Yeah.
Really?
Using board meeting.
Goodness, it's awful.
There you go.
All right.
Okay, go to show all news. It's see the welcome to the 2021 school year. Can you click on that? And then you can see the, yes. You wanna, go ahead.
So we originally posted this back in the summer per VDOE requirements, and it's now been edited and reposted for comments and feedback from any community member who wants. If you'll scroll down this long, I think there are 2 new links embedded into the document, and at the bottom are the new protocols, the updated protocols that is through mitigation strategies.
Is it like a last page or something?
Yes, it probably is. Click on the 6th page. Here's the new information.
A lot of that is updated mitigation and variants and things of that nature.
So that's been added, all the updates to the mitigation, and then on the last page, there are 2 more documents that have been added that are 1-pagers, I believe. Well, the first one is training that the division had to do in regard to COVID-19 moving forward, and then the second one is an exposure flow chart that we've added to our plan. And again, it's to ensure that we are able to bring students to in-person learning for the remainder of the year.
Any questions? Super, thank you. And then I would like to request that the board consider us, our staff has just absolutely worked very, very hard, and this first part of the year has been very, very difficult and challenging for them, and I think they deserve a holiday honorarium. And I know it's just a small token of appreciation for the work that they do. I wish we could give them more. But I would request that those that were hired before October 16th, 2021 would receive a $500 holiday honorarium. Those hired on or after October 17th to December 1 would receive a $250 honorarium, and then any part-time employee would receive a $250 honorarium. And those would be, Ms. Long, those would come out in the December.
It would be my goal to try to do it on like December 15th. I don't know what day of the week that is, but if it's a Saturday or Sunday, it'd be the Friday before.
Correct.
If it's a Saturday, it'd be the Monday.
And that would be for the for the entire division.
Not just teachers.
Not just teachers, everybody.
Yeah. Is this the same thing as the bonus that we discussed in the last?
Yes.
Just a different name?
Well, we can if we name it different, we don't get taxed as sharply.
Understood. I just didn't know if it was 2 different things.
So we're trying to save a little bit of money there too.
Understand.
Yeah, I like that. Holiday honorarium.
Yes.
So, well, really, in honor, it's really in honor of all the work that you all have done. I wish we had a whole lot more.
So if you're comfortable with that, we'll go ahead and move forward with that too.
Do I need to move that to an action item?
I don't, did we do, we did, okay, so yes,
Okay.
that would be good.
So
Jenny, if you
I'd like to propose that we add the holiday honorarium to an action item.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you all. Give you a little bit of update on the Mccard project. I was up there on Friday with Councilman Huntington and Councilman Height, and showing them around. It's really coming around and looking gorgeous. They still have work to do on the new second grade wing. Still a little bit of work to do on the courtyards that we have, the new courtyards that we have. Quite a bit of work to do on what area is called Area D, which is the kindergarten area and the library and STEAM room. But we had a schedule of values meeting also on that Friday, and it's still set to be, the completion date is April 9th or April 8th still, which is good news, and still hoping to have our staff to be able to, the Mccard staff and Bell Heath staff, to be able to move in June, the June timeframe. So we're excited about that. We haven't had many delays. We are still getting quite a bit of amount of change orders, which is a little bit frustrating, but our architects are really handling those well. So we're looking forward to that continuing, and we'll have a progress meeting every other week, and then a scheduling meeting every other week, and then anytime that you all would like to go up and tour, I told some of the Mccard teachers today and Mccard staff that I'd like to get them over there at some point for a tour as well.
Oh,
That'd be great.
Maybe once the kindergarten area gets enclosed, would be a really good time to do something like that. Everything else is pretty well enclosed. In the gym, I don't know if you've seen, they put the window in the gym, and it looks really, really good. And when I was up there on Friday, there were swift birds at the Swift Tower, so
What?
that was exciting.
Or something. Usually they leave by now, so that's really interesting.
Or maybe they might not have been swift birds. Something was there.
They were birds.
They were birds.
There were birds. There were birds. Just a very quick thing, I'm gonna put this on your radar. Wilson will probably call you
Okay.
to bring by the guy who'll be doing the sign, because we're gonna try to figure out how to
okay,
get the
super.
signs on there.
Okay.
But also, if when you're looking at change orders or whatever, if that tower could be completed, make sure it's completed by that April 8th date.
Okay.
Because the birds will come back in April.
Okay.
We just hope and pray we have an easy winter
I know it.
and
I
that
agree.
they can just keep on
Well,
keeping on.
supposedly we are supposed to. La Nina or something.
Fingers crossed.
Mr. Graham, we haven't had a joint session with City Council in quite a while, and I know we had talked about doing it again. Is it something that we should do?
It's on their end now.
Okay.
We've offered it, and I've offered, so we've had Councilman Hike, Councilman Hunting, and Councilwoman Foster up so far.
Okay.
Those have taken advantage of course, Onassis has now resigned his post, so I'd be glad to, and David Ridpath and I have gone up several times, and David goes up on his own.
Yeah.
Too.
But
So-
to have
I'm not talking
a work meeting.
just about visiting. I'm more concerned about budget and.
We've offered
and
that too, so we're just waiting to hear from them.
Are we okay budget-wise right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Maybe once they have a new council person
I think
in
that- I
that
think
last
that's-
seat, that would be a
Yeah.
good time.
I think that's
Well,
what
when I
they're-
hear a lot of change orders, that's what worries me about
Yeah.
budget. Anytime you change anything, it costs. So, and I know
Yes.
we didn't have a lot of money in reserve.
We're still really good with our money with that right now.
Okay.
But the A&E firm is negotiating those change orders too.
Okay.
So we have not had, the good news is we have not had to take out any other resource or have to remove anything or add ESSER money into anything else that we needed to add. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, could we get a breakdown of that? Jack's done a really good job. Could we get an updated one?
Sure.
And I'm not asking that he comes and goes through it. I'd just like to see it.
You mean kind of the one page?
The
that he
one
gets-
pager.
Yeah, I can get you
Yeah,
that,
because
sure.
that was real informative.
Yeah, I can get
And
that
I know
to you.
it evolves.
Sure.
Thank you.
Last time when we were talking about things that we're gonna have to pay that relate to not finishing on time. Have you had a chance to start talking to the contractor about that?
That negotiation has started 2 progress meetings ago for the modular units.
Yeah.
The
so
rent on the
it's
modular units.
$112,000 in
Yes.
extra rent.
Correct. So they're negotiating that
Okay.
currently.
It would be better to get that settled
Yes.
quicker.
hmm
All right, well, you're on the ball, thank you.
Sometimes it doesn't seem like it on that one. Just been slow.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Doing good.
Any other questions on the Mccard project? I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Colley, who has a initiative from the Equity Committee.
Yep, so we appreciate the equity goals that you have as school board members. I just want to share with you an article that all of our administrators have read. It's going out to all of our educators tomorrow on understanding implicit bias. And we do have, we kicked off our Radford City Schools equity leadership team in August. We meet twice a month. And we've been learning and reading and learning and reading and just starting to share some information. So just wanted, this is your homework. Have some great reading for you to think about and reflect on.
Okay.
And this is the cover sheet that's going out to all the educators.
Take one for Lee.
Oh,
Can we get one more
for
copy
Lee.
so I can take it to Lee? Thank you.
Thank you. We have a budget hearing scheduled for December 14th. Any questions about that?
Just a comment, and maybe I'll direct my comment to the public. But we have our budget hearings, and we have our one representative from our Education Association who always comes and speaks. But we really would like to hear from folks about, especially in times when budgets are so tight and we are having to work so closely with our city council around our budget, we really would like to hear priorities. So I just encourage people to take part in those budget hearings. They're similar to the process we use for public comment. Again, it's a public comment period. So.
Thank you. You have your attendance report there, and I'm really excited about this. We're all over 94%, which is great, and our truancy officer has really hit the ground running and is providing a lot of solid data to our principals in regards to students who are having a hard time attending or tardy. Again, free and reduced lunch, because we're under the Everybody Eats Free program, has not changed. Once that changes, we'll have a more accurate percentage of that. And then the last thing, and I apologize, I dropped the ball on this. Our students' code of conduct was just happened to pull it up one day looking at it on the web, and it was last year's. So we expedited this with Paige Weaver, did a phenomenal job in helping us to update this. So this is now the 21-22 that we need to get on, but you all have to approve. It's not, the only difference is it's very similar to a lot of the policies updates that we get. There's a lot of just grammatical stuff or the changes from the legislation or information like that. The biggest change that you'll see in here would be of course, our calendar, the new calendar, and then the difference in their per pupil expenditures, which you see on page 10. Other than that, it's very, very similar to what we've had in the past. So,
and is that something we'll have access to?
I need you to approve it so we can put it on the web.
Okay.
So our parents have it.
Look through it? I mean, has anything else changed?
There's not much different than that. I mean, you're welcome to look through it, and we can approve it in December if you want to. But we could also, if you're, we've spent a lot of time going through it, and there's not much that has changed. We took out a couple policies that they're no longer with the VSBA that were part of this. I don't think we added any, but it's very, very similar. So I'm fine if you want to look at it and then do it in December. I'm okay if you want to move it down on the agenda and approve it for tonight too.
I'd like to take a look at it and be able to come
Okay.
back to it next month,
Sure.
and then we'll have Lee here as well
Okay.
to get full board
Sounds good.
support.
Okay.
And you all received that today, right? I think I sent it to you.
Sure.
Email?
I emailed it to you.
Was it in the same email with the one pager?
It was.
Okay, so I opened it and I went, that's not the one pager. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
right. Yeah. And that's I do want to remind you for next week, I think Ms. Long sent this out too. So those of you that are going to the VSBA, you need to check in at the Williamsburg Lodge, and Williamsburg Inn. That's where we stay, Williamsburg Inn, and then head over to the tavern.
Okay.
And I will be there.
Where the meeting is held.
No, that's the lodge. If you'll call me when you get down there,
Okay,
I'll come
there
get you.
you go. All right. I think I can figure it out.
In the lodge.
The lodge is across the street, not too far from us at all.
Oh, okay. I've never been there. So,
So
all
if
right.
you come, I think it's Gloucester. The inn is the very white, pretty hotel.
Right.
Very, very nice. And then we're supposedly to the, if you were facing that, it's to the right of that.
Okay. I'll figure it out.
We're in the Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah, right. No, I'm not staying at the Holiday Inn Express.
Leave a light on, you know.
Just hope it
All
doesn't
right.
rain like it has. Do we have reports of board members?
I got a question. When school lets out early on Wednesdays, what happens after that? Are there meetings still going on?
Go ahead.
So there's a variety of things that happen, and it's really school-based sometimes, but the intention is to give teachers enough time that they can meet with their teams or plan. We've had to do some of it for PD, though. We've used some of it for meetings. So there's a variety of things that are going on. From the district, there's not as much, but it's school-based.
I tell you, I'm so glad that we did it though, Lynn, because
It's a good thing.
there are so many divisions now that are
They're doing it.
that are
That's where I'm
redoing
thankful
their
for that
schedule.
lead in. I'm seeing where other divisions are doing exactly that same thing, well, except one different thing. Some of them are just picking a Wednesday out, like the first Wednesday of the month, and closing.
And see,
Closing, I mean,
here's the
total.
problem with that, is if you do that,
Does it mess you up then when you come back?
it counts towards your 180 days or your 990 hours, because that's considered a scheduled day off. Like our Thursday and Friday that we had were an emergency day, so we can use the 2 of the 10 days that we have towards that. If you do a mandatory or a scheduled closed day like that, you have to add on another day to the end of the
Half
calendar.
day.
Now, if you do a half day, that's fine.
Yeah, that's what
But if it's a
that's
full-
what
if it's
I'm
a full
talking
day,
about.
yeah.
That's me, that's what I'm thinking, is when you let out, or not
Yeah, it counts as
open.
it counts as a full day
Yeah,
for us.
But when you let out early like that, and then you have meetings and things, could we not just look and see if we just did it one Wednesday a month? I'm seeing this where other divisions are doing it, just close. I mean, just close.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
I see
And
what you're
here,
saying.
the
Yeah.
same thing for here. I mean, I know it throws, the work never goes away, but the
No.
work gets done. You know what I'm saying?
The issue is hours.
Yeah.
So we're very
It-
close, we're very
Yeah.
close to not having enough hours
Or if
via
we-
the VDOE.
But if we did that, would we have enough? If
Well,
we
you're-
did, even if we did, well, we can't do November, if we did it just even if we did it once a quarter, could we figure out if we're close enough that we could
Well,
just
that
close?
wouldn't have an impact on our instructional hours, because those are teacher hours after once the children are gone.
Yeah.
Those are teacher hours, so we don't have any
see
bottoms
what I'm
in the
saying?
seats there.
You see what I'm saying?
So you're saying can we just send the teachers home?
Yeah, even if we did it
Oh, so
not,
an early afternoon?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what he's asking.
yeah.
I think that's
I mean, you know
that's,
better than me, but
I think our staff would certainly appreciate that. That's going to be a decision that you all need to.
The other thing too is I do think we need to consider allowing individual schools to make that decision. Our young teachers who have children, or even,
Yep.
a seasoned teacher who has family issues or parents to care for, sometimes wants a meeting to take place during the school hours instead of after school. And so if principals can work with their faculty to say, what is it you want during this time? Because if there's an RTI meeting or an eligibility meeting or an IEP meeting or a parent conference meeting, many teachers want to have that during the school day so they're not adding to their adding another hour or 2 hours in the afternoon to do those meetings. If we can leave it up to the schools, if we leave it up to the schools to decide which, of these Wednesdays would we like to do that, which Wednesday could we do it, and then we would know too, not to make sure that no meetings are scheduled, that's fine. I just think it's nice when the schools are able to work together with their faculty to decide what is it we can do to make you comfortable, and then, to get these meetings in when we need to. I don't think that's a problem, but I do like the school-based decision.
So the other thing we'd have to consider too is if we do that, we have to cancel Junior Bobcat Connections too, which would have an impact on about 70 or 80 of our families too.
And JC was just here, and so for the Junior Bobcat Connections between 1 and 3 on Wednesdays, we have about 18 pairs that rotate.
I see that.
I think it would be something that we need to probably poll our staff on too, to see if because they do like that time to have as planning collaboration. And
I'm good. I'm just.
I like your idea.
Anything that we can do to get
Yeah,
them
that's
some
what we were trying to
time.
think of the other day, was anything that we could do.
Yeah.
And I thought of that.
Especially like January and February.
Yeah.
Especially February, right? We've got there'll be some long months in there.
Does Junior, the Bobcat Connection program start back up as soon as the kids come back in January?
So the stipulation of the grant is the number of hours, or the number of days that the program serves, and if you don't meet those hours, they reduce your allotment.
Oh.
They do, and so we have to document that. It also means that you're shutting down Junior Bobcat not from 1 to 3, but 1 to 5. You're shutting the whole thing down for Wednesdays.
We just sent a survey out today to the staff to try to get their feelings about some of the PD, what to do on Wednesdays, how they feel about.
We didn't ask what to do on Wednesday, that wasn't involved in it, but we did ask about PD and
things of those natures too, so we can.
did ask teachers to kind of principals to poll their faculties, because every faculty is different, but, administrators can go in and do that through their building leadership teams too, to give us some information,
Right on.
and we do recommend that.
I'm seeing what you're saying, but I think it's something, other places they're doing that. I'm seeing that every day.
Yeah, and you can do that, now, as long as you do the half day and you get lunch
not a
in,
whole
you get
day,
to
not a whole
count that day.
Junior Bobcat would be a problem with it.
Yeah. And we are talking with the administrative team too about those January 5th, 6th, and 7th day. And we're trying to give that autonomy to our building principals to decide what to do there.
Couldn't we consider keeping Junior Bobcat Connection open? And if the teachers are willing to do that, I don't know, maybe supplementary pay or something, I don't know. But
Time and a half.
yeah. And the other thing, Miss Denny.
So let me explain a couple of things. Again, the grants only, like when we write the grant, you have to stay within the parameters of the money, so time and a half exceeds the parameters, so. Yeah, so the moving parts are really, hard to deal with sometimes. I think what we probably would need to do is just to sit down with JC, sit down with our building administrators, especially Mccard and Belheath, and see what a rotation could look like for that Junior Bobcat program. And the 5th grade teachers are awesome. They're very, very generous with their time. They may say, you know what, Ellen, we'll come back in from 3 to 5 and work. They may be fine with that. We can look into it and see what we can do.
All right.
Sure.
As long as you're looking, we're good. It'll probably not work, but it might.
Good.
It's hard when the teachers have lost so much time that they used to spend doing meetings before school and after school because we can't corral the children in large groups anymore. So they used to be able to have those meetings right before school, right after school while it's still in their hours. But now they're having to manage children throughout that time. And we still don't think we're ever going to be able, are we never ever going to be able to corral children again? I know that's a terrible word to use, but that's what you're grouping huge groups of students who are waiting for their first period class.
Right? I think you'll see the mask mandate lift before you see anything below 3 feet of social distancing. I think they're going to continue to ask us to do that just because we don't know, especially at the elementary level, or 5 to 12, who's going to get vaccinated and who's not.
I wonder, once we're able to put Mccard back in their space and Belheath in their space, if the students who are waiting at Bell Heath could be in the cafeteria and the gym, and sort of using
Yeah, right now it's really
the
hard
spaces, but
having-
right now it's
yeah,
too
really
many
hard.
kids.
Yeah.
But once that happens, I would think that there would be a little bit more wiggle room with Wednesdays if they're not having to cram all those meetings into that one day.
So I have one question and one comment. Ms. Denny, last time we talked about Wednesdays, you said there were scheduled things in the calendar for Wednesdays and you weren't aware of other things going on, but you were going to check. My concern, and it sounds like you have, and I understand school-based, and that's what I would want, if I understand. My concern is that the feedback that I hear, and it's rumor and chatter, so I'll be very clear about that, but that Wednesdays are as tough or tougher than when kids are there because they're in meetings from the time the kids leave till whatever time that ends up being. Can we look at protecting their time somehow, at least once per month? Or
So we did discuss it the next day in our leadership meeting, and we gave everyone a chance to say, it's too much or it's not too much. And the consensus among the administrators, all of them, was that we're doing fine right now and the meetings have to be held then because we can't hold them otherwise. They did reassure that not every teacher was in a meeting every Wednesday afternoon, that it really does ebb and flow. You might take a reading teacher, an English teacher who has 2 RTI meetings, or a math or whatever, and I don't know the insides and out. I just know we put it out there for our admin and said, what do we need to do? Do we need to make a better schedule so we see this? And every principal said we're doing okay right now, and I think we need to move forward with the way it is. And we did encourage everyone to go back and kind of feel it out with their staff, their faculty, to decide if something needed to change. I can tell you, we're not imposing a lot from the district level for that reason. When we went to this, we really talked a lot about, protecting that. Again, the problem is, and this is only me and I'm saying it from my experience, if I'm a teacher with children at home, and my administrator comes to me and says, look, we've got an IEP meeting, I need you to attend it. We can do it at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, or we can do it at 3:30 on a Thursday afternoon, knowing it could take an hour and I need to pick up my children by 4, I'm gonna opt for the time during the day so that I can pick up my students, because I know that my children, because I know when I take my children home and put them to bed, unfortunately, I may be doing it then. And I'm a veteran teacher who's done that before as well. So I think you can't make a blanket statement about everyone, because all of our teachers have unique needs. And I think our admin is trying hard to meet each one where they need to be met at. And in doing that, trying to work around their schedule, a teacher's schedule, their personal schedule, and the school schedule. I think that's what they're trying. I can't say that for sure, but we have 2 administrators out here, and you're welcome.
I'd love to make a comment if I could.
Yeah.
So we did, when we talked about it, as administrators, I can say that we have said that we are not having any meetings prior to 2:15. So that gives all teachers at least an hour of their own time on Wednesdays. So really that means from 2:15 to 3, it's a 45-minute meeting. Teachers, if they are meeting, they're choosing to meet, which I think is the purpose of this, with their teams and collaborate with their teams. Most of the things that are happening, I can honestly tell you, I've had 2 faculty meetings all year. One prior to the beginning of school and one on the 20th. We are protecting their time as much as possible. The RTI meetings, the IEP meetings, those are a choice that teachers have asked to do on Wednesdays rather than before or after school, again, because of scheduling. Most cars are gone on Wednesday by 3 o'clock. And I feel like we are trying to make a very concerted effort to respect the teachers' times as much as we can. Unfortunately, it is still teaching. There is a lot to do, and we're trying to do that. So I feel pretty confident in saying that as administrators, we're respecting their time, and teachers are okay. We're doing check-ins right now this week, and they're coming in for 15-minute check-ins. I'm like, what can I do? Nothing. We're doing really good. And I would say that's about 85% of my staff, because I haven't met with the other 15. But I would say pretty confidently that I think we're doing okay.
Okay.
As chair, I should have recognized Mrs. Lincoln Hoker from Bell Heath. She's our principal, for those of you who are observing from home.
Yep. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a lot better. I'm just hearing stuff.
No, we appreciate you
when
giving
I'm
it to
out and
us.
about. So, and I know we had talked about it last time.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. The other thing I wanted to just make a comment about, 30 seconds. We all get these letters on occasion from a Community Life Church. I sit and read these. These are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they're personalized. They're from kids and adults alike, and I appreciate that.
I do too.
They're very, very nice, and I know we haven't really said, "Hey, thank you," but
Yeah.
hey, thank you.
Yes.
These are great.
Thank you very much. All right. We now have
I
action
got one more
items.
quick thing.
Oh,
Next month, could you give us
You
an
done?
update on the ACE program? Just how many
Sure.
we got in it, how many came out last year?
Okay.
Quick, 2-minute thing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
okay. All right. We have
I'm good.
action items.
I'm good.
Given that Mrs. Slusher is not here, I would like to ask the board if we may table for this meeting the renegotiation of superintendent's contract and schedule that for December. And I think I probably need a motion to actually table and reschedule.
Can I ask a question about
Sure.
it before? I'm okay with that. But
Okay.
so this kind of surprised me a little bit, as I thought we were going to have more discussion about it as a board before we brought it to vote.
Yes.
We hadn't.
It's not for vote. Anytime you have discussion about it, you have to have it on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understand.
So would have gone to closed session.
We would have gone to closed.
Yeah.
to
Okay.
the-
So we-
Okay, that was where my discomfort came into play.
It's you
I
can
probably should
discuss
have
it as
called
much,
before the
yeah.
meeting
No, it's
to
okay.
talk about that.
No,
Okay,
anytime
thank
anytime you want to discuss it, you have to have it on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So I'd like to make a motion that we table the renegotiation of the superintendent's contract until the December meeting.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Okay, great.
Also, we need another month for the technology surplus. We have so much.
Oh,
We're
gosh.
still going through it.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we table the technology surplus discussion until the December meeting.
Second? Okay, thank you. All in favor say aye. Raise
Any
your right hand.
discussion?
Oh, sorry, discussion? All in favor say aye, raise your right hand.
Aye.
Okay.
The holiday honorarium.
Oh, right, we moved the action item of approving the holiday honorarium, so I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to include a holiday honorarium as written.
Second?
I second.
You go.
I'm sorry, we're out of kilter. I second.
You go.
We don't usually say anything.
I know, not happy.
Quiet on this end.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
And the 15th is a Wednesday. So should it come out on that
No, need a
Wednesday?
closed meeting?
Go,
That's
Santa.
because we have personnel.
Oh,
And
mine wasn't, because mine is usually.
that's because Jenny has it.
Okay, all right.
I've got it.
Yeah.
All right, I would like to make a motion that we goes into closed meeting under Virginia Statute 2.23711. Closed meetings are authorized for certain limited purposes. Public bodies may hold closed meetings for only the following purposes. We are going into closed meeting under Section 1, discussion, consideration of interviews or prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of any public body, and evaluation of performance of departments or schools of public institutions of higher education, where such evaluation will necessarily involve discussion of the performance of specific individuals.
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye. I'd like to propose we go into closed meeting under Section 2, discussion or consideration of admission or disciplinary matters or any other matters that would involve the disclosure of information contained in a scholastic record concerning any student of Virginia Public Institution of Higher Education or any state school system. However, any such student, legal counsel, and if the student is a minor, the student's parents or legal guardians shall be permitted to be present during the taking of testimony or presentation of evidence at a closed meeting. If such a student, parents, or guardians so request in writing, and such request is submitted to the presiding officer of the appropriate board.
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye. Propose we go into closed session under number 7, consultation with legal counsel and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation, where such consultation or briefing in open meeting would adversely affect the negotiation or litigating posture of the public body, and consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel.
Okay, great. Any discussion? All in favor say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, we are now going to closed session.
All right, good job.
to order. Ms. Wright, would you please make a motion to certify?
I'd like to make a motion to certify the closed meeting.
You have to go reason by reason.
Read the whole thing again?
No, you can just say reason number one and do an abbreviation.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to convene in regular session to certify that we only discussed reasons 1, 2.
Nope, you gotta do one at a time.
Just
Just
read
say,
reason one.
just say, to
Under reason-
certify that we only
Okay.
discussed items under reason number one.
All right, I'd like to certify that we only discussed reasons under number 1 in our closed session.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 I'd like to certify that our closed meeting only discussed reason number 2.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And I'd like to certify that our closed meeting only discussed number 7.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I need a motion to approve personnel report number 1, recommendation from the superintendent.
I'd like to make a motion to approve personnel matters number 1.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 And I'd like to make a motion
That's right.
to approve student matters number 1
For religious.
for religious exemption.
There you go.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. And we didn't have any tuition.
No tuition.
Okay. Then the date